What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Busted Nuts RC. My name is Pernell, and first of all, thank you all, the new subscribers. Thank you all for your support, all the likes, all the comments. I appreciate it. So here we are. This is the next one to review. This is the Hpi Wr8 3.0 rally car. Of course, this is Nitro. It's a pretty cool car. I'm pretty excited. I actually like it a lot, so we're gonna dig right into it, and I'll tell you what I think about it. Okay, so here's the car. This is how it looks basically out of the box. It is a beautiful, beautiful body. I think the livery is perfect. It's on point. It is such an iconic livery. It looks beautiful. Definitely a head turner when you're like driving this thing outside. People do look at it. Yeah, pretty good detail. Very nice car. It's a rally car, so they have this like big wheel gap, you know, from the wheels to the body. You can adjust that. Actually came pretty big. The body was like slightly higher than it is right now. I already played with the suspension. I lowered the body a little bit to give it a better stance, but yeah, it was pretty high out of the box. Nevertheless, it's an amazing car. It's beautiful. I definitely don't regret buying it, and this is a keeper. So let's talk about the car. Let's remove the body. Let's get this out of the way, and let's focus on the car. I'm gonna zoom you guys in. Okay, I hope you can see it well there. Where do we start? Well, as I always say, there's a lot of plastic everywhere. So we have full plastic shocks, front and rear. Yeah, front and rear shocks, they're all plastic. Steering top brace or plate is all plastic. The top links on the suspension, they are plastic, non-adjustable. You can adjust it on the shock tower, but there's only one other hole for adjustment. Servo horns, plastic. You know how this is. Chassis braces are plastic, both of them, and bumpers, skid plate, all plastic. It's not necessarily a bad thing. This is a ready-to-run basher kind of thing, so plastic is going to be, you know, the most durable option. So I have no complaints there. You get a 75cc fuel tank. It sounds pretty small, being that most buggies or truggies have like 125cc tanks. I still got like 12 minutes of runtime, so I guess it's not bad at all. You get a 0.18 engine with 2 needle carb. You know, you have your high speed, your low speed, and your idle screw. Now let's touch right into that. So it is an 18. It's smaller, slightly smaller than a 21. But you know, don't be fooled. This thing has some serious power. After breaking it in, I was going crazy on it, and I was impressed with how much power this little thing makes. So if you were thinking, oh, it's an 18, you know, it's too small, it's gonna be slow, definitely not slow at all. It's actually kind of hard to control on the high end. This thing is crazy. It will shred the tires. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure I told you guys that. So other things to notice, you have some aluminum here, you know, your servo tray and the top of the diff, the center diff. It looks nice. I like the orange. The servos work pretty good. The steering one, it specifies that it's waterproof. It doesn't say anything about the throttle brake servo. You get some mud guards in the back, so you don't like throw rocks at your suspension and whatnot. Adjustable differentials, oil filled, all 3 of them. It's a super quiet drivetrain. I was impressed. Barely any noise. Out of the box, this thing was perfect. I think I hardly get a car, you know, get cars like that. the carb settings were on point, were absolutely perfect. Steering was perfect, linkages were perfect. I mean, I had to change nothing. Just a matter of preference. I play with the suspension. I replaced the preload clips on the shocks. I put the big one in the front and a big one and a medium one in the back. I lowered the body a little bit to give it a better look, but that's about it. You have sway bars front and rear. Of course, this is all-wheel drive. Pretty neat car. I mean, I was impressed. Now, let's talk about the transmitter before I forget. So this particular car came with a TF50, but I know that it can come either with the TF50, the TF40, and the TF41. This is pretty neat. I mean, you get endpoint adjustments. Where can you see that? There you go. You get endpoint adjustments. You have your steering and throttle adjustment. Your bind key. You can reverse the trigger and the wheel. The wheel is pretty nice. You have a third channel button here. Yeah, like I said, the foam on the wheel feels pretty nice. The feel of the wheel is nice. The foam doesn't spin or like slip on the wheel, which is nice. You have this rubber insert on the grip and it feels great. I think it's pretty comfy. You also get this like rubber inserts on the bottom of the radio. Just makes it feel like, you know, a little higher quality than your regular ready to run transmitter. The batteries are vertical in here, so I like it, but you need to make sure your batteries go all the way in. Sometimes they get stuck and you won't be able to turn on the radio. Also, there's no battery orientation. It's not a huge deal. Obviously, you can see that the spring here is meant to be on the negative side of the battery, so you have negative facing down in here, facing up, and positive on the other side. So I got that backwards, but anyway, the negative and the positive, and make sure they go all the way in. All the way, your radio is never gonna turn on. And for a few minutes I thought my radio was bad because it wouldn't turn on. So there you have it. Pretty good looking radio, pretty comfy, and it works great. Now back to the car. While the car came with, you know, the usual stuff. Let me pull that over here for you. You get your owner's manual. You get some Wr8 HPI stickers. You get a wrench for your wheels. You get some Allen wrenches, and of course you get preload clips for the shocks. Only a few though, not a lot, and some plastic bits for the suspension. Nothing extraordinary. Price wise, this thing was $4.99, no tax, and shipping was only like $11. So I think it's a pretty good deal for what you get. This is definitely a nice car. I got this from Vortex Hobbies, so I'm gonna try and link that on the description. Again, $4.99 and only like $11 of shipping. They shipped it really fast, so yeah, it was a great transaction. And Vortex Hobbies, they give you points for every purchase. So I already have like $10 off of the next car after buying this. So there's that. As you can see, I already changed the exhaust. This is not the exhaust that comes with the car, if you didn't know that. This is the original pipe. I changed it because one, I wanted a little bit better performance. This one does improve the mid-range quite a bit. And it looks better. I hate this rubber coupler deal. I just don't like this kind of stuff. So I went ahead and got this one. It's pretty inexpensive. It was only like 29 bucks. This is a clone of a pipe that was really popular on the RS4. So yeah, it's a great pipe. Even though it's a clone, it's a pretty nice quality inside and out. One thing to note with all of these manifolds, I'm going to show you right now. I don't know if you can appreciate it, but on this side there's like a piece of metal. I mean, it's not a big deal. So what I went and did on the new one is I took my Dremel and I just got rid of that piece of metal that is kind of like blocking the exhaust flow, It was actually way bigger on the other manifold, but yeah, little things to notice. Yeah, I think that's it. I just played with the suspension. I changed the pipe. Braking went really easy. That's something that I wanted to touch base on. HPI calls for 4 tanks of braking. I think that's, I mean, if that's what they call for, that should be okay, right? But I think it's not very much, especially when you have a pretty small fuel tank. 4 tanks of braking, I mean, they went by pretty quick, but I went ahead and did 6 tanks. I did 3 idle tanks and 3, you know, figure 8 driving tanks. I like to do figure 8 because it's a good way to be on-off throttle, and that is a pretty good pattern for breaking in one of these engines. So again, they call for 4 tanks. They don't say anything about breaking in temperature. They just say that the normal operating temp for this car should never exceed 250 Fahrenheit. So yeah, I mean, while it was breaking in, I think it was sitting at like 190 or 180. Sometimes like actually cooler than that. When I break in racing engines, I don't let them get that cool. But yeah, I mean, I preheated the engine and it fired up right away, no issues. Like I said, all the carb settings were perfect. As a matter of fact, even after break-in, carb settings, I didn't touch them, and the car is running awesome, has a lot of power, so I can't imagine after I tune it, and with this pipe, how much better it's gonna get. The pull start, pretty basic stuff, but I did notice, like on the first pull, it got stuck all the way out, and it wouldn't retract. So yeah, I had to use it, like I had to move the flywheel and spin the engine backwards to get it to retract. And then it got stuck again one more time after that. So keep an eye on that. I mean, it didn't break, but it got stuck a couple of times. The engine did have a pretty tight pinch. So again, keep that in mind. You get a 2 shoe clutch. It is pretty responsive. I liked it. Again, this thing is a pretty powerful little car. Handles awesome. It's pretty quick. You're gonna love it. The tires are awesome. Let's go ahead and take them off. Let's see. There's 7mm nuts, and here are your tires. Pretty nice rally thread pattern, and very nice compound. Very grippy. I actually like them. I like the wheels. These are 12mm nuts. Hex. So those are the kind of wheels you're gonna need. 12mm hexes. You get plastic hubs, but you can replace those to aluminum. In the front, we have a basic seat hub, suspension and steering. Let's get out of the way. There we go. Can you see it? Yeah, you can. So yeah, plastic hubs and plastic carrier. You can replace this with aluminum. They're actually not expensive at all. I think you can get the whole set. Both carriers, both front hubs, and both rear hubs in aluminum for like 20 bucks. And you can pick colors. Obviously, they have the orange. They have something like this gray, and they have a silver color. They're not made by HPI. HPI does have them, but I see that some of the upgrades are getting discontinued already. So you might have to go aftermarket like I did. You can get a bunch of stuff like chassis brace, the steering top plate. I already got that ordered. The shock towers, shocks. The top links, you can get turnbuckles and all that stuff. So I already got some upgrades coming. As you can see, I already started with this, with the exhaust and such, since I'm going to be keeping this car. Replacement parts, pretty easy to get through HPI or any of, like, you know, their dealers. So yeah, I think it's a good purchase. Only $4.99, and this thing is an absolute blast to drive. The engine is made by Force. I forgot to tell you. So this is a Force engine, and Force does have replacements for this. Actually, they do have like a race version of this engine. Is the R version. This is a high output engine. I guess HPI did kind of like upgrade at some point, and they use this engine opposed to the other one. So out of these 18 engines, there's 3 versions from Force. The regular 18, this one, which is the high output, and then there's the R version. So either one of those will work on this car. They're like from $100 to like $130 for the most expensive version. You will, however, have to find an exhaust that has a, you know, a rear manifold. Besides from that, I have no complaints. I didn't encounter any problems. The only thing was, again, the pull start. Everything works great. I don't even think you have to tweak anything out of the box, maybe just the suspension for your liking. And yeah, it was a blast. It was a blast to drive. I don't think I have any more notes. I mean, you have full ball bearings, you have waterproof servo in the front, on the steering. You do find on the internet, you still find different tires. You get different thread patterns and different compounds. There's like slicks, there's foam tires, there's replacement stock tires, there's different wheel designs. So that's pretty cool. Overall, this is a very, very well-made car. This is based after the Bullet monster truck, the 3.0. So they did a good job. I mean, I ran it kind of hard. We crashed it and everything, and I mean, it is in perfect shape. You get pretty beefy drive shafts and CV axles. The differentials are pretty awesome, like I said before. So if you're looking to get this car, if you were hesitating before, don't. It's definitely a great purchase. You're gonna have a blast. It's pretty fast. As far as mine goes, since I'm keeping it, I might just get some aluminum parts. Well, I ordered the steering top plate. I got some shock towers that match the orange, and I got metal shocks, and as you can see, I got the exhaust. So yeah, pretty fun thing to own. I absolutely love it. I know you can throw bigger engines in here, not that you need to. The Dynamite 0.19, it will drop right in, but you will need a different exhaust arrangement because it has a rear exhaust port. But yeah, I mean, I've seen somebody put an LRP 32 on this thing, but he only used 2 of the bolts. And it worked. But again, I don't think it's necessary, but if you want to go crazy, go right ahead. This thing is a blast. Battery wise, it comes with a standard 4 AA pack. I went ahead and replaced that already, and I got this instead. You know, it's a hump pack, so it works pretty good. If it's in there, you get a fail-safe, and so as soon as this runs out of battery or is like running low, it will make the car brake, so you don't have a runaway. Yeah, I mean, I can't complain. It's pretty awesome. Like I said, pretty quick break-in with only 4 tanks. It went really fast. I will suggest probably doing 6 instead, but if you don't want to, that's totally fine, I guess. They call for 20 or 25% nitro. However, I broke it in with 30% because why not? And it runs like a crazy son of a gun. It's pretty fast. So yeah, if you have any suggestions, any questions, if you need to know anything, please let me know in the comments. I'm gonna try and link the pipe if you want to know about it. Vortex Hobbies, I'll put it on the descriptions. And yeah, if you need anything, I suggest you probably look on eBay. Most of the stuff that I found on eBay. So yeah, pretty cool little car. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate your support, and from here we will see what we can get our hands on. I don't know if we're gonna do another HPI, maybe the Savage XL 5.9 if I can get my hands on one of them, since they're sold out everywhere apparently, or something else. I don't know. But thank you again for watching, and I'm gonna leave you with some videos of this car running, braking and whatnot. So enjoy it.